Welcome everyone to the September 18th regular meeting, City Commission. First one we've had in 2 years, it feels like, but maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long time since we've been there. This time I'd like City Clerk Beth Cecil to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jay Vallata.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
And Commissioner Pam Smithwright is out on business.
Okay, welcome everyone. This time we'd like to have Mr. Bob Glenn, please do stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Please bow or pray, as is your choice, in silent meditation. Dear Heavenly Father, we come together tonight to deliberate over the people's business. We do this knowing that you protect our community in so many ways, that we enjoy being a river city, and we enjoy the fact that our community is prosperous and safe and well run by those who support the city in terms of our first responders, our administrative staff, those who handle the day-to-day tasks of fixing our streets and doing sanitation, and those who protect us in terms of police and fire and 9/11. So we're blessed, Lord, and this weekend we celebrated the prosperity by having an air show, Lord, and we thank all those who made that wonderful event possible. But we're also mindful that those around us are not as lucky, and we ask special blessings and prayers and support for those who are sustaining damage and calamity from Hurricane Florence and from Typhoon Magman in the Philippines, Lord. And Lord, we just ask that as this body comes together tonight, we make decisions that you would have us follow in your way and your thinking and your philosophy, that we want to follow the golden rule and we want to follow the commandments you've laid out for us, Lord. And we thank you so much for the wonderful blessings you provide, that we live in a great community with great surroundings and a great world you provided, and most importantly, great people. And Lord, we ask and thank you for all the blessings you provide. In Jesus' name, amen. And now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is a National Surgical Technologist Week proclamation. Do you have any of those people here? How have you been?
I'm good.
I'm going to read this thing.
Okay.
All right? It's a awful small font.
I had to put it all on there.
Whereas surgical technologists play a vital role in the care and health of surgical patients in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And whereas surgical technologists, also called scrub surgical operating room technicians, are members of operating room teams, which most commonly include surgeons, anesthesiologists, and circulating nurses, under the supervision of surgeons, surgical technologists assist in medical operations. And whereas major hospitals and ambulatory surgical centers in Kentucky employ over 1,800 surgical technologists to work with surgeons in the operating room to provide quality patient care. And whereas advancements such as fiber optics and laser technology allow for new surgical procedures, employment of surgical technologists who are educated in these methods and procedures are expected to increase more rapidly than the average of all other occupations. And whereas Kentucky has 12 accredited surgical technology programs graduating quality students annually. Whereas each year the Association of Surgical Technologists designates a week in September as National Surgical Technologists Week to celebrate and promote the profession. Whereas it is fitting that these allied health professionals receive recognition for their contributions to the care and health of residents of our state. Now therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim September 16, 22 of 2018 as National Surgical Technologist Week in Owensboro, and encourage all citizens to join me in recognizing the vital role surgical technologists play in the healthcare field. Let's hear it for the surgical technologists. be in surgery with these technologies. Very, very good. And they're trying to very, very good also. So you're going to tell us a little bit about that. Being scared? Are you? Being scared? Okay. This is called the grip and grip. Don't be scared. Grip. Grip and count. One more time. $5 for this one.
It was.
Thank you very much. Please, tell us a little bit about the program and how well you. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Zara Basham. My address, I am from Owensboro, Kentucky. I am the program coordinator at Owensboro Community and Technical College, Surgical Technology Program. I'm also a graduate 18 years ago of that program, and I have worked with the Owensboro Health System for those 18 years. Our program, we educate and train integral members of the surgical team to assist the surgeons hand in hand during your operation. Patient advocacy, of course, is at the forefront of our education and training, and of course in our profession. Our students go through a 10-month very rigorous program. They start in August and finish in June. For the last 5 years at Owensboro Community and Technical College, upon graduation, the students take a national certification, and for 5 consecutive years our program has a 100% pass rate. Thank you. The national average is a 68%, and our students' average is an 84%.
Great.
So,
Thank you very much. Appreciate
thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And I can attest, they're very well trained and they're very professional.
Thank you.
Okay. If you get a proclamation, you have to stay for the whole meeting, by the way. Oh.
That's not what I was told.
Okay, at this time we'll go to item 4B, Owensboro Convention Center Annual Report. Ms. Laura Alexander, please. Huh? Got video, too.
I do. I brought a full-on presentation for everybody.
All right. We need you to do well out there.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Laura Alexander, and I'm the General Manager for Spectra Venue Management that manages the Owensboro Convention Center and the Owensboro Sports Center. First, I'd like to introduce our leadership team that we have here. We have Alan Herzog, who is our Director of Operations, Mark Pruitt, who is our Director of Food and Beverage, Brendan Wagner, who is our Director of Events, Heather Terry, who is our new Director of Sales, and Jamie Sheffer, who is our Director of Finance. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to jump right into pretty much the nitty-gritty for you. So as far as the convention center goes and the sports center, looking at the numbers, we actually beat the convention center budget by $13,705 this past year. And then the sports center beat budget by $6,573. So we exceeded the budget by $20,278 this past year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Welcome very much.
When you look at the Owensboro Convention Center and some of the highlights that we've had over the year, first, we beat our budgeted attendance number by 10,278 more people that came through the building than what we had budgeted. We also surpassed our budgeted gross revenue by $268,952, which was quite impressive. So obviously we had more events, more people, which brought in more revenue. We had 450 event days, and for those of you who may not be aware of how we calculate our event days, if we have a convention that lasts over 3 days, we count that as 3. If we have 2 different events going on in the building on the same day, we count that as 2. So that's why there's obviously more event days than there are actual days in the year. That was 19 more than this last fiscal year, and 65% of those were repeat events. For us, that's very important that we have those repeat events. One, it basically is a testimony to our customer service and that clients are wanting to return because their event was successful and that we obviously provided that great customer service. We also had Pepsi became the official drink sponsor for both the Convention Center and the Sports Center, so we're proud to have them on board. We also had a record-breaking year for our self-promoted events. So the self-promoted events are events that we are the ones who take them on. We come up with them, we plan them from beginning to end, unlike where some people would come in, just rent the facility, and they're the ones who are managing the event from beginning to end. So the first one that we had was Shamrock Bash, featuring the Louisville Crashers. This surpassed all of the concert budgets that we had. We actually made more money off that than any other concert throughout the year. Your Perfect Day Wedding Show. This was an event that we created from the very first year of opening, and it keeps growing and growing each year. The Craftucky Arts and Crafts Expo is an event that we created in November. This year we've already had a record number of vendors, and we're having to expand to that area, so that's a great testimony there. And then our New Year's Eve party that we had this past year had a record attendance, so much that it completely sold out, and if people were leaving prior to midnight, as they were leaving, I was selling a ticket for someone else to come in because we had a line of people waiting to come in, so it was a great turnout. All of these beat budget by a combined total of $48,000, and the total profit of just these 4 events that we've created added $86,000 to the bottom line. Speaking of some of our self-promoted events, the Owensboro Air Show is an area that we kind of worked with Tim Ross, and we've created this perfect viewing area. And so I kind of wanted to give a little bit flash update from this past year since it was a great year. We had over 3,000 paid attendees at the air show this year, which is the largest air show attendance that we've had to date. We sold out in advance of all ticketed areas and actually had to create a new area called the Bullet Bourbon Hangar Bar Tent, where we just rented a 40 by 40 tent, threw it in our loading dock area, and got a sponsor to sponsor the cost, so that was wonderful. Our concession sales exceeded $40,000 for the 2 days, and our total gross revenue was $96,000 for the 2 days. So that was quite impressive, and you'll see, of course, in the budget numbers the month to come, that this is outstanding. It more than doubled what we thought it was going to do. Jumping over to the Sports Center, some of the highlights we've had is that Independence Bank and Kentucky Legend Basketball came on board as the floor sponsorship for the Sports Center. This was helped to cover the cost of replacing the floor a little bit earlier than expected. We also beat the Sports Center gross revenue by $155,215, so that was a great added to our highlights. We had enhancements to the game day activities for KHSAA 3rd Region Basketball Tournament. Tim Ross and his staff was tremendously helpful in this area, and we utilized our new LED video boards to enhance the customer experience. And then some of the new events that we had at the Sports Center in 17-18, we had Gary Allen with Olivia Lane in concert, which was bringing back some of that concert series to the Sports Center. Bull Bash, which was a rodeo, and they have already looked at returning for dates in February of 2019. As well as the Grind Session Basketball Tournament, and they also emailed me this morning and set their dates for 2019. So we're happy to have those two as repeat events. Looking at the year ahead, the new events at the Sports Center for the 18-19 budget year, we've got Justin Moore with David Lee Murphy in concert. That's going to be next Friday night. We're happy to have them. WWE NXT Live. I think the newspaper reported that they had not been here since either 84 or 94, so this is wonderful to have WWE here in Owensboro. The Harlem Globetrotters are returning after about a 5-year absence, and we were able to secure them with the help of some of our other Spectra buildings because they rotate across, and so we were able to put a nice offer together and get them. And then the Kentucky High School 2A basketball tournament is coming this year. We were able to secure this with the help of the CVB, and they were able to get more than just the basketball tournament, so that's great as well. Some of the new events coming to the Convention Center for this upcoming year, of course, we've got Dwight Yoakam in concert coming at the end of October. The Greater Ohio Valley Pickleball Invitational. This was also in conjunction with the CVB and the local Pickleball Association. The Western Kentucky Boat and Outdoor Show. This was a promoter that was actually from the Kentucky Lake area, and she puts on a tremendous show, very well respected, so we're happy for her to bring that show here. We are going to be announcing a comedy show probably sometime in November. Can't release any details, but that it is a bigger name that everyone would recognize. And then also the Everything Embroidery Market. it's pretty much exactly what it says. It's everything that you need as far as embroidery. So these are some very exciting events coming in to the Convention Center and the Sports Center. So on behalf of the Spectre team, we would like to say thank you to the City Commission and all of the city departments, especially Tim Ross, for all of their support throughout the year. We look forward to continuing to impact the local economy by bringing quality events to Owensboro and managing those successes. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Great job. Appreciate you.
If you all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 5, consider approval of minutes dated August 7, August 14, August 21. I will make a motion to approve. Could I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 5B is to consider board appointments. Owensboro Health Board of Directors appoint Dr. Tony McBride as a joint city-county appointment to a 3-year term effective November the 1st, 2018. The bylaws for the Owensboro Health, they now have 2 spots dedicated for employee-owned physicians, and Dr. McBride is replacing Dr. Millsap. And the city has their appointment. The appointment is Phil Riney to a 3-year term effective November the 1st, 2018, and he'll be replacing Terry Woodard. So I would like to make a motion to approve these appointments, please. Could I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Civil Service Commission. I'd like to appoint Shelley Shepard to fill the remaining of a term which expires July the 18th, 2020. Could I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Good job. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, ordinance, second reading. Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Ordinance 15-2018, an ordinance amending Ordinance 16-2015 to amend the Gateway Commons Tax Increment Financing Development Area to include additional property within the development area without changing the list of approved public infrastructure improvements or their cost or the amount of tax revenue that has been previously approved or committed for reimbursement by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Owensboro and the Commonwealth of Kentucky in regard to the Gateway Commons Development Project. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 18th day of September 2018.
Okay. Since this is second reading, there's probably no discussion, so we'll have the roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Vallada,
Yes.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. We'll move to item 6B. Counselor.
Ordinance 16-2018, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019, and amending Ordinance 9-2018 to revise all beginning fund balances, carry over all outstanding encumbrances, capital projects, rebudget previously appropriated funds, and to provide for activity at Center for Business and Research. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 18th day of September 2018.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, any discussion from the commission?
May I ask you a quick question? The center, the reference to
Commissioner
the...
Glenn, go right ahead.
Thank you, sorry about
Mhm.
that. Center for Business and Research, so what are we doing there?
It is included because, well, we called it out specifically because we had discussed it previously and it was omitted from the initial draft of the budget you received back earlier. But essentially it's a pass-through now. We lease the facility to Owensboro Public Schools, and so we show it as a revenue, as an expense, so it's a pass-through at no net cost to the city, but it is in addition to the budget.
So to summarize, it benefits us as a city. We have less cost associated with that facility because the Innovation Academy is spreading out. We're taking most of that facility, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you, Mayor.
Any other discussion? Okay. We'll need a roll call vote, please. Ms. Cecil.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Villada.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6C, Counselor.
Ordinance 17-2018, an ordinance levying ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019, at the rate of 26.60 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real property, 28.09 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of personal property, and 30.30 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of vehicles, and providing for the collection and apportionment of same. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 18th day of September, 2018.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, any discussion from the commission? Commissioner Villada.
I've had a lot of comments from the public about this, and you look at another increase. You know, we've increased a lot of things, and we understand that. You know, based on what we've been told in regard to rate increases for OMU for infrastructure, we've increased the occupational sales tax and net profit taxes. RWR rates have gone up, and our state taxes have increased, and pension cuts have happened. There's a lot of things going on with people's finances. And 4%, from what I understand, somebody may correct me on this, is the cap. It has to go no further than 4%. So if it's already at 5, it has to decrease by 1%.
That's correct. Without going to referendum, you're correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, with progression of things such as, you know, we've looked at a lot of options, RFPs for property swaps, food trucks that we've commented on that we've not had any movement on or any comments or discussions for months. It seems like we keep recycling the same resources instead of finding new revenue streams. People's buying power is going down. I know this affects the home industry, the home buying market, because it's a market that I work in. Seems like there's been a 14% increase nationally in prices, and rental properties are only going up 4%. So it looks like home buying power is going down. We're getting ready to go back to a different direction. We hope doesn't happen. Wages aren't increasing, and people on fixed incomes are struggling. Tom, you've mentioned this about your aged mother before. I voted yes to the budget with the intention of understanding that the next push would be for a phase of progress. We've talked about what's going to happen next. We know that TIF money hopefully is coming, and it will be our saving grace, but it hasn't happened yet, and hopefully sooner than later will. But until we have a plan of progress, I'm having a hard time supporting a tax increase until we have more of a plan of progress, in my opinion. I'm kind of on the fence about how this is going to go, so just wanted to kind of throw that out there for public view, just to understand that it's not about us just raising your taxes, and that's not all we do. There's a lot that goes into it, so that's all I got. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Villada, appreciate that. Could you tell us what your plan would be?
I don't know. I'm hoping the TIF pays itself back. That was the goal from the beginning, but we haven't seen any of that yet, and I don't know. We've not had any updates. Hopefully, this opening of the new Bluegrass Museum will generate something, as it's going to be a revenue generator for us to start capturing some of that capital back. I don't know what the plan of progress will be. That's the problem. Nobody has an answer. Everybody comes with the same questions, but it's a lot easier when you have a solution. I don't know what that solution is, just like I'm sure you probably don't either, Mayor.
Okay. Any other discussion from the commission?
I just had a question.
Commissioner
for
Glenn.
Angela. Yes. One of the issues we've had in past years when we didn't pass a property tax increase is I would bump into my neighbors and they'd say, my property tax bill went up. And I'd say, well, we didn't raise your property taxes. And so the key here is valuation can still cause their property tax bill to go up independent of what we do tonight. Is that accurate, Angela? Is that this is more for the public.
That's correct, Commissioner. And also on the city property tax bill, you will see the city school system. We bill for them. So, and they did in fact increase their rates for 2018. So if a resident sees an increase, part of that will be from the school system, as well as assessments if the PVA increased their assessment.
And we are required by statute to collect for the school systems. It's not something that we can opt out of.
Right. Yeah, because it's a combined bill, right? We mail the bill out for them.
That's correct.
And they're included in it, yeah.
Right, they'll come in and pay one amount.
So this is more of a clarification for the public.
Yeah, the taxpayer will come in and pay one amount, and we collect for the school, and then we remit to the school monthly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my comment, because I know that was frustrating. People would think we had raised their property taxes when in fact their valuation had just gone up. So, but last year we did obviously approve an increase. Thank you, and appreciate the clarification. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any other comments? Well, and you've asked me what the plan is, Jay, as Commissioner Vallada. I've brought several plans to the commission. One, selling property. I've brought plans for selling places that are not generating revenue that we, in the private sector, we call non-performing assets. And we've met opposition in every corner that you can imagine. So until the community wants to act as a community and everybody put the same hat on, we're going to struggle with our finances. And the fact that we did not take this rate for 8 years probably cost us $7 to $11 million that's compounded. And so at this point in time, I can't understand why there's an objection to it when, one, the objector has no plan to put forward, and two, we're still struggling with trying to figure out how we're going to pay our pension costs that are coming up faster than you can believe. We have the bills made it to the Kentucky Supreme Court. We have no idea whether they're going to pass, rule it constitutional. They could break it apart. They could save some of the pieces. So in lieu of having answers to what's going on in the future, I think it behooves us to have a plan to try and generate revenue that's available to us. The cities have only 2 or 3 options to generate revenue, 3 I guess, and that in itself hamstrings the city. And with all the different agencies and the arts, the social programs, everybody's struggling. I think it's necessary. We need police officers, we need firefighters, and I think it's just appropriate that we take this minimal charge. And like I said, my mom's 90, she's already fussed at me about it, but if we're going to keep the city moving forward and try and keep some momentum so we can continue to have these air shows and things that everybody wants, we have to have the money to do that. So,
thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm. Any comments from the public? Okay, we will have a roll call vote.
Mayor Watson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn?
Yes.
Commissioner Vallada?
No.
Commissioner Condor?
No.
Okay, tie, I guess. Fails. Okay. All right, we'll move on to item number 7. First reading, there'll be no vote.
Ordinance 18-2018, an ordinance annexing to the city of Owensboro certain unincorporated territory in Davis County adjoining the present boundary line of the city, formerly used as an animal shelter and being property located at 2935 Highway 54, containing 0.844 acres more or less. Introduced and be read on first reading this 18th day of September 2018.
City Manager, do you have anything you'd like to add to that reading, please?
I do, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This ordinance annexes the old county animal shelter on Highway 54. This property is included in the Gateway Commons TIF footprint, but has not been annexed into the city. In order to receive potential city incentives relative to the TIF, the property must be in the city. The property owner has signed a consent form for this annexation.
Okay. Any other discussion from the commission? Anybody from the public? Okay, thank you. Item number 7B, Counselor.
Ordinance 19-2018, an ordinance annexing to the city of Owensboro certain unincorporated territory in the county of Davis adjoining the present boundary line of the city, being property currently owned by the Commonwealth of Kentucky and located at 3001 Highway 54, containing 14.54 acres more or less, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 18th day of September 2018.
City Manager?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This property to be annexed is the state juvenile justice property on Highway 54. In the past, this property was used for a residential program. However, it is now only used for day treatment. As a result, they need less space, and the state will soon relocate the program to a building on Fairview Drive where the Career Center is now located. Since this facility is no longer needed, the state will soon surplus it and look to sell the property. In advance of that, we asked the state to consider its annexation, and they agreed, so they have signed the paperwork consenting to this annexation.
And I'll commend City Manager for taking that lead and making that happen. I appreciate it, Nate. Any other comments from the commission? Commissioner Condor.
Yes. If we could, do you know, Nate, if whether or not the state, what's the process for them to sell this property? Do they put it out for advertisements, or what do they do here as far as placing it out for private use?
They typically do make it available for public bid. I know they have a website that they use from the Kentucky Division of Real Properties, I believe it's called. I looked today. I've not seen that posted as of yet, but I did talk to the property owner of the facility that they're relocating to on Fairview Drive, and he expects them to be in there either, by the end of this year, probably November or early December. So the property will be vacated. So I'll look for them to try to sell the property soon thereafter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome. Anybody else? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, thank you. Item number 8 is municipal orders. We have none. Item number 9 is city manager items.
Thank you, Mayor. We have several personnel appointments today. Kelly Moore, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to Finance Department Assistant with the Finance Department effective September 24th. Adrian Carrico, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to Executive Assistant to the Mayor effective October 1st. David Taylor, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to Property Maintenance Inspector with the Public Works Department effective October 1st. Allison Shepherd, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to Recreational Specialist with the Parks and Recreation Department. John Nance, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to Public Works Driver Sanitation effective September 30th. Michael Staples, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to Police Lieutenant with the Police Department effective September 30. Christopher Collins, James Green, and Courtney Yarrington Burton, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointments to Police Sergeant with the Police Department effective September 30th. Chad Gilbert, Jesse Hagan, Derek Griffith, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointments to Police Officer with the Police Department effective October 15th.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion from the dais? City Manager, most of these people are already working for us.
I'm sorry, Mayor. There are existing positions with one exception, and that is the David Taylor, the probationary, full-time, non-civil service property maintenance inspector. That has been a half-time position.
Oh, boy. We're getting Bobby some help.
That has been a part-time, half-time position in the past, and that in this year's budget it was moved to a fully funded permanent position, so this switches from a part-time to a full-time position.
Well needed. Any other discussion from the dais? Anybody from the public? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9B, City Manager comments.
I do have a couple, Mayor. Thank you.
Sure.
Since the last meeting, we have been awarded, or publicly announced that we were awarded $848,040 for the SAFER grant to subsidize salaries for the next 3 years for the new Eastside Ladder Company. So good news for the fire department. And then also, Mayor, I would ask if you would acknowledge the Finance Department for their recent award.
City of Owensboro has been awarded a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for its comprehensive annual fiscal financial report for the year ended 2017. This is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting, and represents a very significant accomplishment. So at this time, I'd like to present this plaque on behalf of the City of Owensboro to, yes, Ms. Hamrick. Ooh, ooh. Might want to Talk about all those little dishes you got on there too.
37. Number 37.
Number 37. I commend them because I ask them some of the dumbest questions in the whole world, and they treat me like I know what I'm talking about, and they always give me very straightforward answers. And I appreciate it. Any comments from the dais? Okay. Anything else, City Manager?
No additional comments from me, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, communication from elected officials. Commissioner Valada.
I'm good tonight, Mayor. Just glad to be here as always.
Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. 3 or 4 things, actually. There was an award presented to our own Paul Nave, as the state honored him. The Association of Public Safety Communication Officials, there's their release. Thank you, sir. Or is that going down that way?
No, I gave it to you. Help yourself.
All right. There we go. The award that was given to him was their presidential award, the very first one, in their joint annual conference in Louisville. A very good thing to be able to talk about someone who's done something that cares for everyone. His quote in the paper was really awesome. Leadership, if I can do something for others, it's more important than doing something for myself. That's an awesome comment that any and everyone needs to make all the time. So the only other things, Mayor, that I have was this weekend, not only did we have the air show, but First Lady Glenna Bevan was in town, and she's advocating uniting Davis County. Uniting Davis County as a community of care, one of 3 in our state. This has to do with our foster children and children that are in not in necessarily good care. She is not a political lady. She only advocating for her children, so it was awesome for her to be here, and she was here during the air show to be able to advocate for that program. A great thing that's coming. People just keep your eyes open. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Commissioner Grillian.
Yes, just a couple of items. First off, I want to thank everyone associated, including Tim Ross, our fire and police departments, the convention center, everybody that helped organize what I think was probably the most successful air show we've ever had. You should all be proud of your contributions to our community and the region, because we had people from all over the region who came to this event. It was safe, it was fun, it was family friendly, it was obviously gloriously attended, and we had perfect weather. So the weather you all did a great job on. Good job on that. So just a tremendous accomplishment for our city, and I want to thank everybody who was involved to make that happen. The second is that we have a number of people in our community, because we're a caring community, who have responded to the people in need with Hurricane Florence. We have people from the Salvation Army and I think OMU and a number of other utilities that are going down there to help. They're already down there, so they should be commended. That's just another symbol of what a great community we have, that they're willing to go out there and extend themselves to help people in need. And then finally, I want to say to our office staff, Sherry and Beth, and our support staff, thank you for all the hard work you've done in the absence of being understaffed. You guys have done an awesome job and put up with my stupidity in particular. I don't know how many things I've messed up. So thank you again. Our administrative staff on the 4th floor is awesome. They always are, and I know they've been understaffed, and we're going to get help, so that's awesome. And that's it.
Thanks, sir. I have a few items. Those of you that may have missed our road announcement, in contact with the U.S. Department of Transportation, they sent a gentleman from Louisville, Mr. Nelson, and then we had the Secretary of Transportation of Kentucky, and there was a nice event planned by Candace and the Chamber to recognize our shield for the I-65 project that will hopefully keep us off the cul-de-sac. Now, it won't do a north to south exactly like we want until we can figure out how to manage the road basically through Huntingburg. We as a community have been working on that for 26 or 27 years. I think Buzz Norris was county judge at that time, and it's just a slow process. There's roads that need to be upgraded to interstate standards, and there's actually about 27 miles of asphalt that needs to be pulled. It's a $700 million project, and it's a public-private partnership. And the folks in Huntingburg have raised $7.2 million towards that. We had a meeting in Indianapolis with the governor, and we're trying to get them to put that up on the fast track so that we can really be connected like we hope we will at some point in time, so we can come out of Indy in 64, because Indy comes out of 64 and they go through Bloomington and they head towards Evansville, and 64 is going to Louisville, and they're increasing that highway to 6 lanes. And if you see that Y there, we're in the middle, and we'll end up being on a cul-de-sac and be left out. So it's extremely important that we stay vigilant and try and continue to get Indiana to move that project forward as much as we can. I was in contact with the DOT about the build grant for the Riverport, and I talked with a gentleman and said they had 112,000 applications for that same amount for that money for the build grant. So the folks in Washington have been very good to us, and I have to commend Secretary Elaine Chao. She's been a great friend to our community, and has kept one eye on us and one eye on the rest of the country, and done a very good job of keeping us relevant, because it's extremely important that we get this connector done. We had a freedom walk from the Sports Center, and from the Sports Center to the Shelton Memorial, and I walked inside a police car from the Sports Center to the Shelton Memorial, took the shortcut, and but it was great to see people come out. The honor flight took off again from the Sports Center. A great crowd of World War II, Korea, and a few Vietnam veterans. Had an opportunity to go to D.C. To see the monuments, and I tell you, I've done that as a guardian, and my veteran was 91 years old. Have you ever slept with a 91-year-old gentleman you don't know in a hotel room? I mean, you're just wondering how, you know what I mean? It's kind of odd, but those guys, we drive to Louisville, get on a plane in Louisville, fly to Baltimore, get on a big bus, go from Baltimore to Washington, D.C., and visit the World War II Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, the Korean War Memorial, the Iwo Jima Memorial. And most of these guys are 90, and then we get back on the bus, drive back to Baltimore, and fly back to Louisville all in the same day. And the only tired people were us guardians. Those veterans were ready to go for another trip. It's remarkable, and if you have an opportunity to be a guardian for one of these gentlemen or ladies, you should take that up. It's an unbelievable experience. Also, I would like to thank Tim and Erica for all the work. 7 months probably you work on that air show, or maybe even year-round. We had a wonderful static show at the airport. That's the first time I was able to attend, and it cost a whole $5 to get in. And at night, when it became dark, the acrobatic planes that flew over the river flew out there, and they were lit up with LED lights and firing fireworks, and it was just beautiful against the dark sky, and everybody seemed to have a wonderful time. They had planes on the tarmac that were going to be in the show, and one of the jets, and it's just a really well event if you had a place to park. There were some parking issues because they were parking several miles away and humping it down there, but it was stated that they had about 11,000 people there. Great event. So Tim, I don't know what else to say, but unbelievable experience for all the community. And I want to thank you and Erica and all the our public works guys, police, fire, sanitation. And you go down there the next day and see how things look, and it looks like we didn't even have an air show. It's just so wonderful, the people that we have working for this community and for the community. And after the air show, the Saturday night, Independence Bank held a reception and invited all the people, the ground crew, the mechanics, everybody. Maybe a total of 60, 70 people, Tim, something in that neighborhood. Blues. And it was very well attended. The city was presented a very nice picture, and I quickly passed that on to the Independence Bank people for their participation in making this air show happen. it was an event. We had an opportunity to, Barbara and I were sitting up there, and I think we've got some photos somewhere that a gentleman named Jacob Rutledge had. And I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but there was actually a bald eagle flying in that show. And I think it's up, you could see this, it's a quick little video, and this guy's, he had a camera like this long, you know, and people were sitting there with their phones trying to take these pictures. And this guy puts you right in the seat with these pilots, and that's my favorite one, that Corsair with the, and that's the Corsair, that's Mustang P-51. And several of these guys, Jochen is like a third generation pilot. Most of these guys built these planes, you know, and repair them, and these pictures were taken from the balcony of the convention center, and is amazing. The death wish these guys got by flying so close together, it's unbelievable. And these guys had a little, like on a swamp buggy, you know, that little airbrush thing, and they're flying around and doing flips. And there's 350 miles an hour, they're 18 inches apart. So if you want to go to the website and see Jacob's stuff, it's remarkable, the pictures that he took of this. Just look at that. I mean, we could see the name of the pilot on that plane there. And there it is, a bald eagle flying in the Dad Blame air show. And I guess they were waking up the babies over there in her trees or something, and she was defending them. But you know, it's hard to, you know, it speaks for itself. Take a look at that. 400 miles an hour. If they're breathing there, I'll be surprised. And one of them's always lost, you know, he's upside down, but I mean, look at that. I can't thank Jacob enough. I got to talk to him. I said, can you shoot me a link or something to where we can show these at the commission? And he said, sure, as long as you give me a little byline for it. And, I mean, can you imagine taking a picture when those guys are going 400 miles an hour and still catch that when they're just in contact with each other? Bill Stein. And we had great helicopters. The river was so bad that they really, normally they kicked some soldiers out of those doors, and they ended up throwing some dummies out because the river was so up and had so high and had so much stuff. This is a guy that amazes me in that old, was it World War I biplane of some sort, Tim? World War II? So I'd say there were 40,000 people that had their hands over their ears and their mouth wide open for at least 2 hours anyway all this was going on. So thanks to Jacob for sending that link, and we have that here if anybody wants to see any more of it. I want to congratulate Chief Mitchell on his staff and for this SAFER grant. That's $840 that our general fund doesn't have to come up with. And you got to thank Brett Guthrie and Suzanne Miles. They championed that thing up through there, and there were many communities trying to get this money, and the grant that was written so appropriately certainly helped a lot. And we're also probably going to have an announcement at a special called TAC meeting that Kentucky Department of Transportation is going to give us $15 million to help with the 54 road project. And to Commissioner Conder's comments about the First Lady, I met Governor Bevin when he was a candidate, and he said probably the main reason that he was running for governor was to fix our outdated, unsuccessful adoption process that we have in Kentucky. And he can talk to it because he's got 9 children, I think, 7 or 9, several of them adopted from different countries. And so pretty good weekend. We also had Fred May and David Ross here, and I think they thought they were going to be on the program a little earlier, so I'd like to read a little statement about they're representing United Way. It's a community-based, largely volunteer organization that provides fellow citizens the means to support multiple nonprofit agencies that meet the health, education, and financial literacy concerns of our community. Pooling financial resources permits us to fund many qualified nonprofits, 23 here in Owensboro to be exact, many out there serving the community 24/7. Letting the United Way handle fundraising not only frees up agency time to deliver this primary service to the mission, to the community, it also develops a caring and philanthropic image for the city of Owensboro. The city of Owensboro is a big supporter of it, and each member of our community is asked to individually determine what financial gift they can provide. With the power of many standing united, great things can be accomplished. So we want to thank Fred and David. I'm sorry we didn't get you on before you had to leave, but that's just we'll have you back. How's that? Okay. At this time, any more communication from elected officials? If hearing none, we'll have open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern. It was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope of responsibility of this commission. City Commission meetings are held to conduct business, city business, for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. And you can see this on many forms of social media that we have. The meetings are not intended to serve as political forums for candidates who are campaigning for political office. Political candidates, like any citizen, may address any item on the City Commission's agenda. During the open public forum, any citizen of Owensboro may address a specific city-related issue not on the agenda, but candidates for any political office will not be allowed to use the commission meeting to promote his or her candidacy. This time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium, be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from the city, staff, or the commission. And the mayor reserves the right to extend or delete time to the speaker. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm Roy Henry. I run Henry's Body Shop on West 2nd Street, and the city come down there. I've been there 55 years, and they want to shut me down. Wonder what's going on with the city.
I'm not aware of this, so could you expound a little bit on why?
No, if you'd been in the office, you had been. I'd been down there 8 or 9 times to see you, and you wasn't never there.
What office is that, sir?
That's right here in City Hall.
Yeah. If you realize that mayor's position is a part-time position, I have
well, I don't care what it is.
Could I finish, sir? I did not interrupt you. I have a business that I run, and I get here as often as I can, almost every day, at least 2 or 3 hours, and I'm sorry I missed you.
Well,
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I certainly will be glad to look into it.
No, you know what I was there. The bunch there kept telling me that they phone. I left the phone number for you to call. I never did get your call.
I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Could you tell me what the issue is?
Well, the city come down, told me I might even have to move all my cars off the lot.
And did they give you a reason why?
Well, no, I don't think I could, because I ain't going to be moving no cars, I'll tell you that. And I tell you what, the city don't own that place. I paid for it. And I won't be moving no vehicle on that lot.
Okay.
And everybody down through there have got automobiles sitting out they're working on. I've been there for 55 years in that place. I built that place, and I work hard for it. Ain't nobody going to come in and tell me that's what I'm going to do on that lot.
Okay. What exact? Who came to see you then, sir?
Well, I won the city.
Could I be recognized?
Hey.
Okay. Mr. Henry, is that right?
That's right.
Okay. We're going to have our city attorney. I'm going to recognize him to speak to this subject.
Mr. Henry's been down here to City Hall at least 3 or 4 times. I met with him the first 2 times. He has a letter from OMPC. It is not from the city. And I recommended to him when he came that he needed to go over there and talk to them about the complaint that they had from the letter.
You have a copy of the letter?
I do not have a copy of the letter.
I've got a copy.
You can leave it with me. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve.
But I just wanted to let you know it's not the city that has made complaints to Mr. Henry. It's
It's Owensboro.
Yes,
OMPC.
Well, the
Uh,
fella
does that-
came in there and told me he was from the city. We
Sir?
gave him the order. Now, what happened there?
Say that again, sir. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Huh?
What did you say? Somebody over there said the city told him to do it?
Well, yeah, the city, he claimed to be from the city. He came in there and told me what I even have to do.
And did you get his name or a card or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay. All right, so we feel like,
And well, yeah, that ain't it ain't only stopped there. The city had, the city. I said, now wait a minute. I said, what is different in my place, and everybody down through here got automobiles sitting on the lot. I said, now take Pedley God said right across from me. I said, they've got a whole block of them. I said, now you tell me the difference. Well, he couldn't do that. So here later on, here come Pedley up a day later on my lot, giving me a cuss and said the city told him that I turned him in. I said, no, wait a minute. I said, let me tell you what happened. I said, what happened? I said, why did I have to move my vehicle if Pedley and everybody down through here had vehicle? And so that didn't suit Pedley, so he ended up giving me a cussing on my lot, and I told him then better hit the sidewalk.
okay.
And-
It sounds like to me that this might be just a miscommunication of who actually is in charge of this complaint against you. And as our city attorney has said, it does not come from the city per se. And I think your argument should be with OMPC. They meet here twice a month, and they have a public comment period. And I think that's probably where you should take your disagreement with what they're trying to do. We have no say over OMPC. All we do is appoint members to the board, and they have a book of rules they go by. And since I haven't seen the complaint and I don't know about it, I apologize if you feel like I've been avoiding you, but I have not. And I think you should speak to OMPC.
Let me ask you something here now.
Yes, sir. Get close to the mic so everybody can hear you.
Okay. Let me tell you something there.
Okay?
The city came down there in the back end of my garage. One of the city worker had that done. Came in there and built my alley up on my garage where I dang near can't get in and out of it. And I had the city. Now, when Morris was mayor here, I had him down there, and he come down and look at it. And the city agreed to come down and cut that alley down where I could get in and out my garage there, and that wasn't ever done. Why was that done?
I can't answer that, sir.
Well, one of the city worker did it. It had to be order out from the city to do that.
And does this have anything to do with your complaint tonight?
Yeah, that got part of it too. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I put up with that much in the city. That's like I said right here. I bought that place here next door. It went on for about 20 years. It looked like a city dump, but when I bought it, it come to be a different story. People had money on it before, and I come to the city and tried to get something done to it, but they couldn't do anything about it. But when I got it, now they complain and tell me what I need to do. You know.
Well, I appreciate you coming down. I suggest you talk with OMPC and get some satisfaction there, because if they gave you the complaint like our attorney said, then that's where your disagreement should go. Okay?
Well, sound like a bunch of bull to me.
I've been told that before. Anybody want to follow that? Okay.
Be a little bit more positive note. Josh Cook, Owensboro, Kentucky. I just want to step forward. Is your name Laura? I just want to thank you for bringing events to the city of Owensboro. I think you were an intern and you just got the job full time. As a member and a citizen of the city of Owensboro, thank you for actually branching out and bringing something different to the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.